Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to this edition of SportsView on their media.tv on Monday, the 24th of November 2025. My goodness, another month almost gone away. Anyway, good evening, Anna, and welcome.
Hi, Joe. Hi.
Good evening,
Good
Joe, and
evening.
welcome.
Good evening, Pat. Good evening, Anna.
Please,
Derwin is trying to join us. I think he's having a problem with the Wi-Fi, but if he gets the right satellite dish, he might come into us later on. Anyway, that's Derwin. But anyway, we have the usual suspects to look at over the weekend. When is a penalty not a penalty? Will it ever end? I don't know. I thought if you foul someone in the box, it's a penalty. And when is a foul not a foul? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. And then over the weekend in cross and soccer in the Premiership, you had wins for Brentford, Wolves, West Ham, Palace, Spurs, Brighton, Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool, and to me, not because Anna is it, but Liverpool to me against Man City looked in second gear, Joe.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Huh? They looked very, very comfortable.
Yes, they did. They
Yeah.
did. And they're,
Yeah.
they're. We talked about them before. That they're a much different team now than they were under Klopp.
Oh yeah.
With the gegenpress and all that stuff, and then the heavy metal soccer and stuff like that. I mean, they still can play you that way, but the way they played on Saturday or Sunday against City, where they just sat back and dared City to beat them and then counter attack them. I mean, there's two levels to that. But mind you, to be fair, to sit back and let people come at you is a very hard job as well, because everybody has got to get their position exactly right, and they have to be working at it. They were very, very disciplined in what they did. They nullified Man City's midfield, and it was interesting. I mean,
what stood out to me, a few things about Liverpool, and it stood out to me was all the players. I know it's just cliche. All the players are enjoying playing soccer on the field. That's number one. Number two, they're a real team in that every single one of them, I know it's a stupid thing to say, exactly where they should be at all times on the field. If Van Dijk and the man was there to sit back with him, if they go up,
Canate.
there's still four people at the back defending. Automatically, there's no shout. An organizational thing and a thing that you have in your head as a soccer player. They're just so professional and so good that I think the league is over now anyway, myself.
don't say that, please. Don't say that.
Well,
I
we've
really
been,
think you're
but
saying
Anna,
so far out from April.
we've been sagging Man United so much, but this is for all the Arsenal fans out there, just to have a light-hearted look at the league.
English Premier League. Arsenal. Nil. Viewers, apologize. I'm continue.
I hope he's not getting paid for that, because he's having way too much fun.
He's
You
having
made
so
sure he's getting paid.
He doesn't deserve to be paid for that. He's having way too much fun.
he is. That was. But I know it's only one game, but it has a huge. There's a big difference between 5 points behind and 11 points behind. Really and truly, it's a shocker in one way, but you know,
But
there
if
you
you were
go.
looking at West Ham and Arsenal, you'd expect Arsenal to win. I mean, if they're number two in the league, like, it seems to be this getting what just happened with Liverpool, though. If someone lost and we had a chance of going ahead, never played properly that day. We never got there. We say if we were 3 points behind and we had to get to 3 points. On that day, they don't seem to try to, get up there. But now they are. I mean, when they had a draw last week with Aston Villa, and our own supporters online were down in slot. You know, I said it's one game, like, and they're down on the manager. And then on Sunday, then of course he was the best manager ever. You either follow
Yeah.
them or you don't follow them, and that's me is the way it is. Win or lose, if they're your team, that's your team, and that's it.
Well, as we're on here tonight on Monday night, the top two teams in the championship are meeting tonight. Leeds United are away to Sheffield United, two United. They're first and second in the championship. Leeds are 2 points ahead of Sheffield United. So it'll be interesting to see will the lead change hands in that. It's been a very, very, very good league, you know. And I managed to catch
How
up
long
with.
is it since Leeds were in the Premiership? Pat?
Well, I don't know. Is it 8 or 9, 10 years? I don't know.
It's a
No,
long time,
no.
isn't it?
Didn't they just they lost against Southampton last year in the playoff final, having got relegated that season. So they were in the
In the
Premiership
Premier.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago, yeah.
They have two very committed managers side by side tonight on the line. I'd love to be there, but anyway, let's
Hmm?
kick me off as we're on the air tonight. You know, we keep an eye on that. You know, but over the week, during the week, we had the European Cup was decided the last 16. You know, the eight teams
Okay.
that came through the groups were already decided, and we had 8 more. And there was a few surprises, and I think Club Brugge from Belgium were the surprise packet to my way of thinking anyway to go through, and they went through with flying colours. Feyenoord went through as well, Bayern Munich, Benfica, PSG, which I thought were very impressive, PSV as well, PSV Eindhoven, Real Madrid, and Borussia Dortmund. They were the 8 teams that joined the 8 qualifiers already, and the draw for that has been made. I think is it the draw that was made. I forgot to take it. This is the draw, you know. But anyway, um, Real Madrid had a smashing win in the league, in their own league, over the weekend, 2-0. And I think one of the goals of the season in any competition was scored by the evergreen Luka Modric. I mean, move over Mbappe, move over Jude Bellingham. Luka Modric still has it. I don't have a copy of the goal, but it was
Uh,
just so fantastic, lads, if anyone saw it, you know.
it was an absolute cracker.
Oh,
He's a great player.
Oh yeah,
oh, it's,
yeah. It was.
But
oh.
Nat, what do you think of the format of the European League? Are you in
You know,
favour of the way they done it this year, or do you think it's wrong? Leave it the way it was.
I think the format, I liked the format. I think all the teams had something to play for, except there was only one team that had nothing to play for at the end, which is a very good success of the competition. That young boys of Switzerland had nothing to play for at the last match, win, lose, or draw. But all the other teams had something to play for because not alone with their points, you were getting a financial reward for the number of goals you scored as well, and for keeping a clean sheet, and for the progress in next season's competitions. You'd have a seeding as well for next year, where you finished in the competition. So there was something to play. Shamrock Rovers themselves now, Shamrock Rovers, as we were, even though they were beaten in a penalty shootout on Thursday night, they'll be one of the seeded teams now next year in the conference, in the European Conference League, which means that they want us to go through all the qualifiers that they did
Yeah,
this year. So they'll be joining the competition later and more beneficial to them. You know, they'll be ready for it. Our season here will be started. You know, our season will start till February. See, so they'll be in a better position to participate next year. You know, so there are something to play for in every one of the conferences. You know, I think anyway. I think it's been good, Joe. I think it's been very good.
well, I think the jury's still out on that though a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, if you look at it, they're they're playing more games
yeah,
than they have in the past. And
Yes.
again, it's all geared towards the big clubs, the rich clubs. I mean, we had a bit of an anomaly this year where some of the big teams are down a little bit, like City and what have you, and Real Madrid were a bit of a surprise when both of them ended up in a knockout game at this stage. But it's still, it's still geared towards the richest clubs in Europe, and the rest of the clubs are just getting, peanuts for compared to what the big clubs are getting. So it's just going to get bigger and bigger for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd still. I mean, don't get me wrong. There've been some good games, and it's been exciting to see some of the teams that have made it through, especially on the last day. There was a lot of fun stuff. Was it PSV scored the winner right at or close to the end of the game, and I was watching their coach on the sideline. He couldn't watch the last 2 minutes of it. He's bent down with his back turned to it, and then the whistle went, and he's like a lunatic. But so there was exciting stuff from that standpoint.
But in the last 16, you have Real Madrid playing Atletico Madrid,
Right.
and you have Liverpool, which is a very tough match for them because away to PSG, and then you have Barcelona to Benfica, into Milan and Feyenoord, Arsenal away to PSV, and my team of the tournament so far, Club Brugge, are at home to Aston Villa, and then you have the two German teams are at home for the first leg. Dortmund are playing LOSC, and Bayern Munich are playing Bayern Leverkusen at home. So they're the last 16 matches, and they'll all be played the 4th and 5th of March.
It's very sad to see a team like Man City that were 4 times, they say, Premier League winners, and to go out at that stage, whereas it was done like they used to do it in 4 or 5 teams in each section, they'd have a better chance of coming out, would they?
Yeah, I saw the Celtic equipped themselves well in Europe, I thought, myself. But I don't think they have a team to progress in Europe, Celtic, I'm saying that's the Celtic. Rangers, Joe, are looking for a new manager, and they sacked their manager over the weekend.
Saw that.
And
realistically, I don't know what you lads think it is, and Anna, what you think of it, but all the teams that you rattled off there, right, in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, if you only had the champions of each country playing, wouldn't you have got to this stage a lot sooner without having played so many games?
That's what I'm saying, Joe.
Yeah, like the old days when you had Athlone Town drawing Real Madrid in the cup. I mean, that was just.
I mean,
Limerick and Southampton.
Yeah, I mean the difference in it obviously is that you've got the group stages now where some of the smaller countries like Ireland with the League of Ireland and the smaller European countries, they're league champions and they make some money from that, but they could still do it that way and then have a knockout competition once they've all gone through the preliminary rounds of getting to wherever they have to get to.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that have to play through to make the big dance.
Yeah.
But realistically, what you're doing is you're making all the big clubs play, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's another game. I mean, it's more money coming in the door. I mean, that's what it's all about.
That's true.
And I mean, and I don't know if you saw the interview after the match yesterday with Man City, but Dominik Sobieski was absolutely on his knees in the interview practically, and because he just run his socks off in the game, and then he said, and then we have to go again in midweek.
There's Tuesday. There's a full list of Premiership games
That's full
on
schedule on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday. Palace versus Villa, and Fulham are playing. I can't read my own writing. Chelsea and Southampton, and Brighton and Brighton and Bournemouth on Tuesday night. On Wednesday, you have Everton and Brentford, Man United and Ipswich, Forest and Arsenal, Spurs and Man City, and Liverpool and Newcastle. That'll be a tasty game. But Newcastle,
That'll be a hard one.
Yeah, but Newcastle are very hot and cold.
Yeah, they are. I mean, look at them.
They can go out next week and win 4-0, and then go over to play Palace, with respect to Palace, and lose 4-0.
Well, I mean, they nearly threw it away yesterday with the game they had yesterday against
Forest. Yeah, Forest scored first. People forget that they scored a cracking goal first, but they scored 3 goals in 11 minutes in Newcastle, and really, I mean, they are up there. Where are they?
Yeah.
Newcastle have 40. Well, at the moment in the Premiership, the points Liverpool are on top with 64 points. Arsenal have 53. Forest have 47. Man City have 44. I mean, they're 20 points behind Liverpool. Newcastle have 44. Bournemouth have 43. Chelsea have 43. And Aston Villa have 42. And as we said, Man United are down 13, 14, 30 points. I mean,
that's an interesting point you make there, right? Liverpool at this time last year, I forget what position they were in, but
they were in second place, Joe.
They were in second place at this point last year.
Yeah.
But they were fading at that stage. And
what happened was that they lost to Man United, and after the losing to Man United, they just seemed to go downhill.
Yeah. But it was happening a little bit before that as well, though. Their results were starting to. So now you have City in exactly the same position as Liverpool were last year. Only City are in 4th position, but they're falling away.
I mean, there was a few of their players have come to the end. I think De Bruyne is not a shadow of the player he was. He was absolutely very, very poor, and he wasn't the only one. He was one of them that was very, very poor.
Who did you say, Pat?
Huh?
Who did you say was very poor?
De Bruyne.
Oh,
yeah.
I think he's still carrying an injury, and he's still. Yeah. I think he's trying to play his way through it. And
does he look unfit to you? He looked unfit to me.
He's been out for a while.
And he's a big ass in him. He's a lot of weight in him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the hard part of the game, which to me is so unfair, is that everything that Kevin De Bruyne has done for Manchester City and been for Manchester City.
Yeah.
People now are piling on him, saying, well, he shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing that. How ridiculous is that for a guy that has done so much? He was part of the role. He was part of a treble, and how quickly people forget once the shoe's on the other foot.
What did do?
Having you have a couple of bad seasons, know. It just does not. I mean, you look at Liverpool, for instance, right? I mean, they had last few years has been a great period of time. They've only won 2 Premier Leagues, right? And that's what they've won in all that time, right? But what they've been building.
Oops. Joe.
Oh, God.
It's all right, Joe.
You're back.
They Soboslai and Gravenbach.
Yeah.
2 of the best signings
they were sensational. Whoever is a scout, whoever is looking after recruitment in Liverpool have to be applauded. I mean, those 2 players are just sensational.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But I mean, the only guy that you look at there that's not been an out and out real, diamond has been Darwin Nunes.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
Nunes is a different kind of centre forward. He's really not a goal scoring centre forward.
I think Nunes would be more suited to Man United than Liverpool.
Well, he's
But
he's more of an upgrade on Andy Carroll than he is on anybody else. I mean,
if
he's a battery.
if you look at Nunes, he flies the field. He flies everywhere. I think he's an awful lot of assists, but he just can't get goals.
No, he can't.
There was one not so long ago, I can't think which game it was. It could have been a cup game or something, and he got 2 goals. And it must have been 2 goals in a long time. But he puts his heart and soul. I think sometimes when he's shooting at goals, he overshoots. You know what I mean?
And sometimes he's trying too
Try
hard,
too hard. That's it.
and there's no one can fault his work rate,
No.
fault his commitment, because he's never seen a challenge that he won't go into,
Yeah.
and he works his tail off throughout the game. But,
He does.
maybe that was part of the plan, because you have Jota and you have
Yeah.
the
Salah.
other guy that they have.
Yes.
Yeah, Diaz. You have those guys that come on and play afterwards. And for some of these guys, you need a big guy around, because they're all very dainty and what have you. But
I think. Sorry for qualifying. I think Nunes was bought when there was a fear that Salah was going to leave the club. Remember that time? There was
When Manny went.
a question mark about him, so they bought Nunes. But he was never. He never seems to be a first choice player for the first 11, and he knows that himself. And I suppose, but he's a fine player. I don't think they'll leave him go. Anyway, I don't think they'll leave him go.
well, I don't see the benefit of leaving him go.
No.
You
I
know,
don't like.
As we're on here tonight, Sheffield United have taken the lead against Leeds. Top of the table clash after 26 minutes. They're 1-0 up at home to Leeds. So there you go. Anyway, that's a press the red button on the right hand side to subscribe to our channel. It's very much appreciated, and we appreciate all the people who do that. And you'll find us all on our YouTube channel, nearmedia.tv. And thanks very much for that. We're with Anna, Joe, and myself, and we're discussing the soccer. And there was an incident in the Everton match with Man United. Of course, Everton, as we know, went 2-0 up. And I went away from the match at that stage because I was just so frustrated at looking at it. I said, it's the same old story. I'll go out and make a fried egg sandwich for myself and a cup of tea. have a cup of tea. It's just, my son is a Man United fan. When I heard the shout, I said, definitely Man United must have scored anyway. And they did, and it was 2-2 nearly by the time I came back in to watch it. But there was an incident for a penalty. What's his name?
Ashley Young.
Ashley Young probably was the worst type of player you could rely on to get a penalty, because I mean, he's well known for diving. There's no doubt about that. Ashley Young is, and he would be the last player you would expect to get. I know it's a bit unfair to say it against the man, but he's well known for diving, and all referees know him. And I think that myself, my own opinion, I don't think there was a penalty.
I didn't say we had Munster Championships all weekend, so I saw no sports on it.
Yeah, do you see it, Joe?
I did say it, but I mean, I understand here, right? Guy's in the middle of the box.
Yeah.
He's going for the ball, and the fella pulls his jersey back, right? There's 2 guys running in the middle of the field. One is counter-attacking. The other guy is trying to recover defensively, pulls his shirt back. It's a foul and a yellow card.
Yeah.
So tell me the difference in the 2 incidents. Shirt is pulled, but in box, it's not enough to give a penalty.
You're dead right there. Referee fouls in the box differently than they do outside the box. That's a fact of soccer life. Every week
Well,
in, week out. I see it week in, week out.
did you watch the Aston Villa Chelsea game at the weekend?
Yes,
Right? Did you see Cucurella
I,
with his arms around the guy's arm, Bogart's arm,
yeah,
and Bogart has got a wide open goal to shoot into, and he can't, and the referee is watching it, and it's
yeah.
not a penalty.
Well, sure, isn't that last man standing, Joe?
Yeah,
There's no, yeah,
yeah,
I thought VAR was brought in for that as well.
that's
yeah.
what I thought, but I just don't get it. And I mean, I know it's easy for us to be on the sideline and what have you, and
Well,
commenting and what have you, but it's I mean, sometimes a foul is just a foul and get on with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and that's and when somebody says, the commentator says, well, he's trying to oversell the penalty. A foul is a foul. We see
Yeah.
guys overselling fouls in the middle of the field all day long.
yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
where's the common
That's
sense?
justice, yeah.
So I suppose it makes for entertainment. So
It does.
it gives us something to talk about.
Can you imagine? I mean, we're talking about it here, and it doesn't affect any of the three of us really. But can you imagine being the players on the field of play and knowing that the referees, 100%, referee fouls in the box differently than they do outside the box. That's all one can say. That's all one can say about it, Which is, when there's a foul, not a foul, I
Yeah.
don't know really.
When the referee says it's not.
But
Well, happens a lot.
that's the thing with it, So it's I don't know. I mean, I watched two different sports over the weekend. I watched rugby and I watched football, soccer, and
Yeah,
difference in the respect from the players to the referees in both codes. Totally the opposite.
well, it is. Yeah.
Not one player on the rugby field spoke disrespectfully to a referee.
The only one allowed. Yeah, you're right. The only one allowed. It's in the rules. The only one allowed to speak to the ref is the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you would have to see that.
And when the captain speaks to him, it's a discussion.
Yeah.
Well, what are you thinking? This is what I think I saw, and then
It is a two-way thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that. But then I watch, football and guys getting in referees' faces. Every time something happens, they have a quip at him and this, that, and the other. You know what? If I was the FA, I'd be throwing yellow cards around like you wouldn't believe.
Well, I wouldn't do as a referee because there'd be only two goalkeepers left on the pitch in the end, and myself.
But do you think, Joe, I mean, there was a lot of discussion about the Liverpool match for the referee, and it doesn't matter who you are. Anytime he's ever refereed, can't think of his name now, but anytime he referees, he never gives anything to Liverpool. He's constantly against them. I mean, I'm not saying that as a supporter of Liverpool. But the thing about it is that referee that match, was it Aston Villa or was it one before that? I can't think of the referee's name. But he never ever is on the side. And as I said, as a supporter, I'm not saying it, but just no matter when he's doing refereeing Liverpool, you're guaranteed there's a lot of them get yellow cards and one could even get a red. Just gives nothing to them.
Yeah. The Irish ladies begin a new era for soccer. The Irish with a new manager in the Women's Nations League, and they got off to a winning start against Turkey at home 1-0, and a good workman like performance. They're playing tomorrow night. They're playing Slovenia away tomorrow night. 5 o'clock Irish time is the kick-off, and it's on.
Is that the senior team? Is it Joe? Or sorry, Pat?
Yeah.
Is that the senior team? And what's the name of the new manager?
She's Clara or something. She's from Manchester, I think.
Oh.
And she's a Uh, I think they needed some outsider outside the art. They needed someone outside to come in, and we have only we have one or two world class players. We must suppose play to our strengths. You know, there's no doubt about that. You know, but I think that they played well for their first game, and I think they're always under pressure since the World Cup when they're playing at home. You know, everybody expects them to win. It's like the men's team when they were successful. Every time they went out at home, they were expected to win the match.
Yeah.
You know, but I think they'll
You
do
know,
well.
I find it very interesting that, we speak from that we needed somebody from outside. We had somebody from outside,
I
Vera,
agree.
and she
We
took
have,
it.
but
We,
I think Vera Pauw fell out with an awful lot of players.
you know what? They
The
made it.
lady,
They
sorry,
made
Joe.
it to the World Cup, and then the people in charge screwed it up by getting
Yeah.
involved in it. They should have stayed away and
Yeah,
let the chips fall where they would in
they
it.
should have
But
Yeah.
they should have
I'm
left it.
sorry, but
Yeah,
if
She
you're
got them
the
there.
if you're the manager or the head coach of a team, right, and there's players are playing, they either want to play or they don't. If they don't want to play, don't bother packing your bags and coming with us. We'll bring
Exactly,
somebody
Joe.
else.
well, there was also a marked difference in the tactics from Pauw's era to Eileen Gleeson's time when she played what we call an orthodox team 4-4-2 to suit the players that she had. Vera Pauw persisted with the 3-5-2, and it was not working out. We only have one world class player, in my opinion, on the Irish team, and that's Katie McCabe. She's a
And
persistent performer with Arsenal at the height of the women's Super League in England. She's playing
she is, Joe. She
at the
is Pat.
highest level. She's playing for the last 10 years at the highest level of soccer. She's a super player.
She is, but Pat, she actually, not the woman that's gone, the first manager got them to the World Cup. She actually was trying to tell that manager who to play. I mean, if that's the manager, you don't.
I
I
don't
don't know.
believe.
I don't like her as a
Yeah,
person, as a
you're
soccer
right.
player. There's a person.
I think the Alakadoos demonized McCabe in the media. They demonized her in the media. Her frustration was obvious to the pitch at the time. Her frustration was obvious. They are the people that are expected to go out and play it under a system that they knew wasn't working. Ireland could have had achieved a lot more, in my opinion, at the World Cup. You know, and it's no
Got
harm
them
to
to the
live.
World Cup, Pat.
Yeah,
That woman
no,
got them to the World Cup.
yeah, but they could have done better at the World Cup as well. You know. Anyway,
Well,
that's only my opinion.
so it's a two-way street,
Yeah,
right? So you play two edges of the sword.
yeah,
So
yeah.
with what got you there, right? And it was proven to do that. And then you get there and you want to reinvent the wheel and go to a whole different system.
Yeah.
So the manager now that's got you there is getting castigated for the way that
Yeah.
they play to get there. When they get there, she changes the way that they're playing in their system for a player that thinks this is not working,
Mm.
right? And then they get their butts handed to them anyway. And whose fault is it? It's the manager's fault
Manager.
because she should never have changed. She should never be listening to players and changing the way that
Yeah.
you play. And that's it. I mean, I'll give you examples of players. I was fortunate enough to be with the national team a few times.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I played with players like Liam Brady, Steve Highway, Frank Stapleton, Dave O'Leary, Tony Grealish.
Yeah.
Go on and on, Jerry Daly, Mick Martin, Paddy Mulligan, all terrific players and guys with character and opinions.
Oh, absolutely.
I never once ever heard any of them ever say anything to the manager about what we should be doing.
Exactly.
The manager told us what we should be doing, and we went out and we did it. Liam Brady, when he played for Jack Charlton, and when Jack first took over, and some of the boys were playing and they didn't like what Jack was doing,
No.
and came to Liam because Liam is a very strong character I've known him for a lot of years. And they came to him and they said, Chipper, you got to talk to him. You got to talk to him. We can't keep playing this way. We got to play football. We got to get it down. And Liam turned to him and he said, lads, Jack's the manager. We do what he says.
Exactly.
And that's the end of it. So that I have no time for people that are wanting to change things to their own way. The only person that gets to change is the manager if they think, or the head coach if they think it needs doing.
Yeah.
But why do you fix what's not broken when you've already got, you know?
Yeah. No, anyway, they're playing tomorrow night. They're playing Slovenia at 5 o'clock kickoff, and we'll see how they measure up.
But to go back to the devil's advocate, look what happened with Irene in her last game against Wales. You know, I mean, they didn't even qualify.
No.
They get beat at home. So you know, you can say whatever you want, but she didn't qualify for the tournament, even though she changed stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like again, you know.
And sometimes, Joe, sometimes the manager can persist with the same players all the time.
Yes, they can.
To the detriment of the team.
And that is what eventually costs the manager their job.
Yeah.
At Leicester City with Jimmy Bloomfield.
Yeah, and Man City now.
Yeah. And it comes in the finish because, you know, Pep is now going through a clear out. Jimmy Bloomfield at Leicester believed that you can't be experienced. He was very reluctant to play young players.
Yeah.
We got some of us got some games, you know, but we never got a consistent run
in the team.
Yeah. Well, it ended up costing Jimmy his job because they were nearly relegated, and he gets sacked. And then Frank McClintock comes in, and the wheels come off, and they get relegated anyway the next year. So,
and just a few more bits of soccer news. Real Betis, which is the home of Anthony. Do you remember that man with Manchester United?
Yeah.
They beat Getafe 2-1 over the weekend, but Anthony saw red, I'm afraid, in the match. But being a former red, they still won the match. They're Real Betis. And Barcelona top of the league in Spain with 54 points. Atletico Madrid at 53. Real Madrid at 51. The Athletic Club at 48 and Villarreal at 44. And Bayern Munich at top of the league in Germany with 55. Leverkusen at 50. Frankfurt at 42. Freiburg, now there's a team to have 39. And Mainz 05 at 38. Inter Milan are top in Italy with 57. A point ahead of Napoli at 56. And Atalanta 51. Lazio 47. And Juventus at 46. Como in Italy, who are down the middle of the table, who are managed by Cesc Fabregas. He's been going through a torrid time, a learning curve, I'd say, with his club, Como. But they won 2-1 against Napoli over the weekend, which was a sensational result for them because, as we said, Napoli are only a point behind the leaders, and they had 2-1 win. They've won their last 3 matches now. That's Como, so they're over there by Lake Como, as the thing was said in Italy, if you know Italy. But that's Fabregas. He's supposed to be doing all right. They're in 13th place. So what other team do we know who's in 13th place here in the Premiership? But it's not a bad place to be. But as I said, over the weekend, the Six Nations continued over the weekend in Rugby Union. And Ireland had the expected win over Wales, but not the way it panned out, because the Welsh team had no choice, only throw caution to the wind and put in young players who played very well. I thought they played very well myself, because the pressure on those players, you know, with all the tradition of Welsh rugby behind them, you know, and with a packed stadium, you know, and not expected to win the game. I thought they played a great game myself, you know. Ireland eventually prevailed 27-18. They got 3 or 4 penalties at the end, which was kicked very well. England beat Scotland 16-15. Scotland had a converted try at last at the death, and they failed to convert it because if they had, they'd have won the game. But anyway, England won the Calcutta Cup. That's for that for the successor. And France 73-24 over Italy. Well, what can you say about that match? You know, I don't know what you could say other than France and Ireland next for the championship. But the significance of the result with France and Italy is it was almost 50 plus points, 49 plus points in France's favour, and that could come into play when points difference are the same, at the end of the tournament. So Ireland are playing France next, and Ireland have Italy as their last game. So the championship will be down to the to those two games. But Ireland won the Triple Crown over the weekend. I didn't see a whole lot written about Ireland because they don't win the Triple Crown that often. I think it was only the 10th or 11th time in their 100 plus year history that they won the Triple Crown. That's when they beat Wales, England, and Scotland. That's what the Triple Crowns were. Anyway, they've won a trophy so far. But what did you see any of the rugby over the weekend?
No.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah. I watched. The only match I didn't see was the France Italy match. They didn't have, or I missed it. But like we talked before, though. I mean, we talked last week about the bounce of the new coach coming in and what have you, and that was really apparent. And he, with some of the players that he brought back and brought in, and I mean, they played well. They made it very, very difficult for Ireland, and I'm reading somewhere that people are out there and talking and saying, well, would Ireland beat them with 14 men? Would they beat them with 13 men? Would they beat them with 12? For God's sake, what do these people be thinking about?
I don't know.
Do they actually know how hard it is to win any game? Not a test match.
Oh, it's just very, very tough.
In their own backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Very tough. It's very tough.
It makes me laugh. Sometimes they should have done that. They should have done this. Yeah, right.
Well, Ireland's Achilles heel, I would say, and it won't be a popular thing to say, is Prendergast was very poor again. And people will say, oh, he's young, he's learning his trade. You don't learn your trade in the Six Nations. You go in there to play, and be ready for it, I know all the young players on the Welsh team were learning their trade as well, but they equipped themselves. I thought he was a very poor match again, and I really think...
I didn't think he was bad.
Yeah, I thought he was off.
That kick that he put over the...
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about his kicking, but I'm saying that his general play, he missed two vital tackles, and I don't think he can tackle at all myself, The last two matches now, his shortcomings are anyway, it's only my reading of it, my opinion.
Yeah.
That's all that is, I think Jack Crowley is a far superior player than Prendergast,
But I read an article the other day, and sometimes we're a bit biased down in the red part of Ireland,
Yeah.
But I read an interesting article by Ron Nogara a couple of weeks ago talking about Jack Crowley.
Yeah.
Ron Nogara's take on it was that he really likes him. He likes what he does, and he thinks he's got a lot of potential. But he said, Ron Nagara said something very interesting. He said, how can Jack Crowley become the Irish out half if he's a yo-yo in the Munster out half job? And that's, if you're not the main man in Munster, how can you be?
That's a fair point. Yeah, they use him in the centre a few times, Munster did, because of their shortage of players, and because they don't have the same finances as Munster has. So therefore they're very limited in who they can bring in or what they can bring in, And
No, I just say, and I read an article by Tony Ward this morning,
Yeah.
and he thought that he played well, and Easterby thought he played well. So it's I mean, again, it's all down to opinion,
That's all it is.
and
That's all we're doing here is give you our opinion. But we wish him well. We wish him.
If you go through US, we go through US every morning, and there was at least 50 of the Munster team and academy training out there today.
And I forgot, what about Treaty United? 7-0 over the weekend.
Away.
Yeah, Treaty United, 7-0 over Finn Harps the weekend.
what they did, where in
Very good.
Up in the arsehole of Donegal.
Oh, up in Ballybuff, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I was up there the time Limerick won a league. Oh my God.
God's sake.
7-0. And John Caulfield and Ollie, what's his name? He used to be the manager of Finn Harps. He's the second in command now at Galway United with John Caulfield. They had a win over St. Pat's in the Premier League, and St. Pat's are one of the favourites to win the league this year. Shelbourne, who were the league champions, went down to Waterford and came away with a 1-0 victory, a very tough one. Waterford are very, very good. They came up this year from the first division, so they have a nice young team, you know, down in Waterford, I'm saying, and they're nice setup. But they lost 1-0. Cork City drew 2-2, I think. I'm not too sure now. Oh no, their match. Was their match postponed at Shamrock Rovers? It was. They were to play Shamrock Rovers yesterday, but it was postponed, I think. Yeah.
And in junior soccer, Fairview Rangers and Janesborough have gone through. Fairview Rangers and Janesborough, they're the two left in the FA Junior Cup here. Now,
Who?
Janesborough and
Fairview.
Yeah.
Did the draws are made, aren't they, for the Junior Cup?
Fairview go to the arsehole of Donegal, Sagan it's called. And both over to the borough are going to. And the two of them are away from home anyway.
Yeah, there's a lovely photograph of Stephen McGann and his little child walking off the pitch. They were beaten 2-0 by North End in the cup, in the last round of the cup, and they're walking off the pitch. Lovely photograph taking them, and the poor little laddie looking up at him after his daddy lost the match, you know. It's means a bit of human side to it, but there was a boxing card on over the weekend, if anybody was watching it, from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Now, to me, professional boxing is becoming worse and worse as it goes along in this kind of made-up fights, you know. You had
a very good card on in Belfast on this Saturday, the 1st of July.
You had a made-up fight between Paul Parker and a fella came in at 2 weeks' notice, Bacoli. My God. He danced around the first round, and then Parker hit him twice in the second round, and it was all over. He just landed 2 punches, and it was all over. And I said to myself, paying €500 for a ringside seat there, so you definitely want your money back. But the light heavyweight world championship between Bivol and Better Behave was 12 rounds, a good quality 12 rounds fight, I thought. I don't you see that at all.
As I said, Joe, we had our Munster Championship for the 14th, the 15th, and 16th. Isengard, Joe, and Dungarvan, so I saw not only an arena.
Yeah, I thought Bivol. I thought Bivol won the first fight myself, but he gave a man a boxing lesson in the second fight. The man is 40 years of age. Bivol is 34, and he won that very well, you know. Although one of the judges who has to go to Specsavers called it a draw. I mean, when I heard the first, I said, lads, we can't have another farce here. The first score that was called was 114 to 114 to draw, and I was looking at the man who watched the fight. Oh Jesus! I said, this can't be another robbery without violence. And another judge, and you judged the fight. One judge called it 114 to 140. Another judge called it 118 to 110. The same fight. I could not believe. I mean, I don't know really. I was wondering, was the judge called Joe Biden who was called watching the fight? I don't know, but he wasn't anyway at all. He wasn't called Biden.
Our judging is done recently done in amateur boxing on computers. You have a box in front of you, and you've
Yeah,
got a red side, a blue side, and 10 from 10 down. So if you think that the blue lost the first round, you bring him down to 9. So the other boxers won that round 10-9.
10-9. That's right. Yeah,
And 5 judges.
yeah.
Five
But
judges.
anyway, sanity prevailed, and people got the fight in the end. I would say there definitely would have been a riot in Riyadh if it wouldn't against him, because he outboxed him completely. To my way of thinking, I think he won 8 or 9 out of the 12 rounds. Anyway, uh, that was the boxing, and there was a few golf over the weekend. There was a golf, the Kenya Open in the DP World Tour. The South African won that -18. He got €2.5 million for his weekend's work. The Mexican Open in the playoff. Brian Campbell from England, who's a good solid pro, he won over $1 million for his weekend, but he got an exemption on his card for the next 2 years. I was just reading the backstory of winning one tournament in America. He's first of all he's guaranteed income for the next 2 years with his card, and he gets into some of the majors as well as a result of it. But it's a huge boost. There's talks going on at the moment between the PGA and Live Golf to sort out the two tournaments going side by side, to sort out the situation, to bring them all together. I think they could do it with the stroke of a pen, but there's no way. The OPG, the people the independent company that allocates world points to your finishing position in each tournament, you get world points, and that goes through to your position in with the way you're ranked in golf. There's no ranking points allocated to Live Golf. If they allocated ranking points, which the Far East Tour were willing to do, I think it would be the first jump that they overcome, and then people can compete at any tournament they like, in whether it's Live Golf or the PGA or DP World Tour. I think that would be one way out of it. We've got equal points across the board. I think they could solve it in thing. But the president of America is involved in the talks with him now. So I don't know where that's going to go, but it will
Which one of those guys is going to be called the dictator then?
Monaghan.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But how can you give points to live in tournaments where they're only playing 54 holes, right?
There's a confined field. There's 48 golfers in each tournament, and there's no cut-off point because there's only 3 rounds. That's LIV. That's 54. That's the way they market it. I think they'd be willing. I think they would be willing to go to a 72-hole tournament if there was points allocated to all things, so, which means anybody can play at any tournament any weekend. That's the way I'm thinking of it. I don't know.
I to be honest, I would not be in favor of live dictating the course to 54 holes.
No.
If they want.
There's another. I'd say
open up their tournaments to the other side.
I think that the investment fund that are funding this, there's $20 million thrown into the pot for every live tournament. That's a lot of cash, $20 million,
Well, it is a lot of cash, but I mean, you're not comparing apples to apples, and
No.
they're not. So, I mean, I don't see how you can have one side of it that's a closed shop that only has their own members playing in their tournaments, whereas the PGA is open to pretty much anybody that's in the PGA. And and they're getting the same points as these guys over here. That doesn't seem right to me somehow. That if they're not able to combine some kind of a tournament together where they're competing on against the same players.
Yes,
Because,
I think what will happen in the end, if they decide to money talks, as we know, Joe, money
oh yeah, it
talks,
does. Yeah,
and what will happen in the end is there'll be 12 months taken. There'll be 24 tournaments. How many gets off the top of my head? 24 tournaments allocated to the general golf body, and they all can compete at that for the points now. And you'll have to compete in so many of them every year, you know,
yeah.
to keep your card. I think there'll be something like that. Don't be complicated. I don't know, because there's some fine golfers that people aren't seeing every week, like Brooks Koepka, like your man uh, Bryson DeChambeau, and Mickelson even, and Poulter, and there's still Sergio Garcia. There's still a lot of golfers. Tyrrell Hatton, still a lot of good golfers that people aren't seeing every week. I don't know myself. There was a ladies' tournament over the weekend in the Honda ladies in Thailand, and Anna Yen won that, and our own Leona Maguire. She finished down the field at -6, but she had 74, 68, 2 rounds of 70. So, as we said before, she did very well because these long courses, she's not a long driver of the ball. So, but nevertheless, she equipped herself very well. And Ian won the tournament at -28. Now, that was 67, 64, 64, and 65. She really shot the lights out. But anyway, fair play to her. Anyway, I know. Do you like border cars? I was admiring this morning the new Aston Martin car in Formula One. Aston Martin finished fifth in the constructors' championship the last 2 years. But if looks will tell you anything about a car, this car has the looks. I don't know whether it has the power now of the drivers to succeed, but I tell you, you can look it up online. The new Aston Martin Formula One car. We'll see how it goes. And
Can
Lewis
we?
Hamilton is all excited for the new year after driving his new Ferrari Formula One. He's driving for Ferrari next year. I think to start the next month for Formula One, but it seems to be generating a lot of excitement. But anyway, I think it's still 1-0 to Sheffield United as we leave. It's 1-0 to Sheffield United over Leeds as we come to the end of another night, lads.
The
Brilliant.
question for you before you finish
Yeah.
up on that, just like actually as you touched on that, they want to throw out there. Really, our promoted teams from the championship really ever going to do well in the Premier League
When they come up,
when they come
Yeah.
up? Because I mean, we're looking now in the last probably 3 or 4 years that the same ones that came up went
Oh, down.
right back down. I mean, the days of Nottingham Forest and Derby County coming up from the second division, and within a couple of years, Derby or Forest within a year when
you're gone, Joe.
He's gone.
Nowhere. But it's a fair point. I mean, Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich came up
Yeah.
this year.
They're going.
It looks like they're going to go back down again. But I think there's a lot of
But Pat,
factors.
how can they compete? How can they compete in the Premier League with Liverpool and City and Arsenal and the big clubs that the money is being put into? Now I know Liverpool didn't buy any players with it. Some of the
No,
others
but
did.
you don't
But
expect you don't expect three promoted teams to
yeah,
be contending for the top four, but at least you would like to think that they're capable of being in the top 10 or 12 in the Premiership after coming up. I don't know. Is their fitness level something to talk about the players, the quality of the players they have, you
and
know?
probably the managers as well because they wouldn't be able to afford a real big manager. Do you know what I mean?
That's
Pat?
true, yeah. That's true.
They
And the
wouldn't.
player the players, see, a lot of professional players won't take a chance in going to a club that's just promoted.
It won't. It
You know,
won't.
they
It
won't.
won't.
I
But I
mean,
mean, it's like,
you couldn't see Mohamed Salah going to Southampton.
but you know what was lovely to see this year? Brighton did very well this year, Joe.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Pat. Brighton done very well this year, you know.
Oh, they're fantastic. They're fantastic.
And
Uh,
Bournemouth done well as well. You
well,
know, and they would have been teams we wouldn't have been used to being in the
well,
Premier
fair play to David Moyes. He has Everton
Yeah.
out of
And they're
danger
coming
so
back up,
far, and
yeah.
you know, and that's the quality of the manager. But we spoke about him before. You know, maybe he should go to back to United and get rid of Amarin because Amarin is failing miserably.
But yeah, but Pat, you know, can we continue blaming the managers to take over Man United? Because to me, it's the players. They won't play. They don't see. You were talking about, or Joe was talking about Liverpool, the way they play together. But Man United aren't doing that. And it's always
No,
the managers. They've had four
that's
managers now in about 6 years, Joe, you know?
yeah,
Or sorry,
yeah.
Pat. Keep the
Well,
manager. Let him get rid of the deadwood and get in good players. You know, they're paying money for players and they're not working out for them.
well, it depends. I mean, it looks like Leeds, Sheffield United, and either West Brom or one of those teams. Well, I mean, I think Leeds, looking at their team, I don't know how equipped they are to compete at the Premiership level. If they
Yeah.
do make it, if they do make promotion, I don't know how they are. Well,
Not the money to buy players either, you know.
yeah, it'd be exciting if they get investment in the club. Anyway, from Joe Waters, from Anna Moore and myself, till we meet again lads next Monday night, from another edition of Sports Show on their media. Take care, Anna, and have a good sporting week.
Right. Night,
And
everybody.
and up the Reds.